Hi guys, we're back today with another video, and I'm assuming from the thumbnail and from the little Gameboy Pocket you can see in front of you, you know what this video is going to be about. But if you don't, then, well, we are going to look at upgrading, replacing, bringing it back to life, bringing it up to date, this Gameboy Pocket. And as you could probably see from the horrific discoloration on the front, the screen on this is kaput. It is not working. Now, the Game Boy itself does work. It just sometimes takes a little bit of jiggery pokery due to the fact that the battery components, contacts in the back are a little bit skew with. But the good news is this thing does, here we go, look, have a bit of life to it. Still life in the old dog yet, as they say, but as you can see, we've got some discoloration on that screen. It's not uncommon with these, especially if they've been exposed to a lot of sunlight, if they've been left in the sun for too long. It does tend to go horrible on there. So yeah, this was passed on to me by some friends of the channel to say, look, can you do something with this? Can you restore it to its former glory? So I did a little bit of looking online to see what's available. Obviously, I know that there's various IPS screens available for the DMGs and the colours, and there are various screens available for the Game Boy Pocket. So, via the medium of eBay, or the retailers are available, I picked up a, where's the little leaflet that came with it? A high-speedido LCD screen. Now, High-Speedido, they are a professional game console modding company. I've not heard of them before, but apparently this are lots of different LCD kits, various modifications, etc. So I picked one up, mid-30s, I think, £34, something like that, including shipping. And it arrived the other day in your padded envelope or whatnot. So I've opened it up, and inside we've got a couple of various bits and bobs, which I'm going to show to you now. Some sort of LCD driver board. We've got the LCD screen just there. And then various bits of foam insulation stuff that I guess will come into play later on. Some sort of bezel. A glass lens or a glass screen, and a couple of screwdrivers. So yeah, it's a piece of plastic apparently, again, which may come into play later on. I'm not sure. Anyway, the thing that appealed to me was the fact that this is a no-cut mod. One of the things viewers of the channel will know I excel at is cutting, and when I say excel at, I mean rubbish at. With my 10 thumbs, cutting is not something I try and avoid, cutting shells if at all possible. So for me, this was perfect. It's a no cut mod. It just drops in and we retain all the original shapes and size of the original shell. One thing that has troubled me slightly is the instructions, or lack of instructions, that's come with this kit. All I've got is a very, very pixelated rubbish guide, if I'm honest. And we've got various bits apparently that we need to solder or put somewhere. So we're going to try and play it by ear and try and figure out on the fly, I think. The first thing we're going to need to do is to get the case apart. Now, as always, this sends you screwdrivers to do this with. I'm going to use these. Yeah, I'm going to show you the guide as is, use the kit as is, because, you know, if I'm doing it, I want you to do it as I would do it. So I'm not going to use my screwdrivers. So we'll just whiz these screws out. Now, like I said, this has been passed on to me by a friend of the channel. It's in relatively decent nick. There's no obvious batches of corrosion and stuff on it, which is good. Just the usual sort of dust and whatnot that you'd expect to find in a machine that's pushing 30 years old. There's plenty of dust and muck in me. Now, I must confess, the Game Boy Pocket isn't something I've had a lot of dealings with. I only got one Game Boy Pocket, and I had to replace the screen on that one. I just replaced it like for like. I dropped in an original screen taken from a donor machine that was destroyed. But I do quite like the Pocket. It's quite a functional little device, and if we can get a nice screen in this, something fell out. Oh yeah, switch. It's gonna prove to be a really nice machine. So let's get the board out as well, and then I need to try and figure out where everything is going to go. So yeah, there we go. 1997 wasn't far off, about 30 years. Did I say 25? No, 30. Yeah, that battery spring, I'll have a look. Might be able to bend that back round. Or that might have some spares in the box. I shall have a look. Right. Screw, screw, screw. Is that all of them? What am I missing? Any more screws? No. Okay. We've got a ribbon for the original LCD screen. Will that just pop out? Fantastic. Should. Yeah, there we go. Lift out. Okay, right. So, yeah, board looks good. We'll pop that to one side. So now, in here, what have we got? Is this just going to pop out, lift out? Let's get all these out. We can give these a clean, can't we? Don't want to be too haphazard with this when I'm taking it out. Just treat it with a bit of care and respect. Not sure if that's going to come through on the microphone or not. I'm in my kitchen and the boiler has just fired up. It's a very loud boiler, so apologies if that's been fired up. I'm trouble getting this out. What am I missing? Yeah, probably shouldn't use a crosshead screwdriver there, should I? Come on. Ah, there we go. Just a bit of glue, just a bit of 30-year-old glue holding her in. There we go. And there's that screen. Now, I do think that actually what you could do is take the glass off, if I'm right in thinking this, with a X-Acto knife blade, something like that, take off the polarizer and put a new polarizer on, and actually that might sort that screen out, but that's not what we're going to be doing for now. I'm going to put that to one side. Maybe we'll revisit that in the future. I'm going to pop the lens out. Again, that plastic lens should just pop out because we'll be replacing that with a nice shiny new glass one. And I think let's get the IPA out and give that a nice little scrub. I'll be back in a second. Okay, right. Bought a new bottle of IPA. This 99%. It comes with this massive. It's not going to be too much. Any coming out? Hello. Oh, yep, plenty came out then. Oh boy, did that come out. Ha ha! Oh, wow. Yeah, I made a mistake there by spelling that, didn't I? Hey ho. You can never have enough IPA, as they say. Luckily, that will just evaporate away very quickly, hopefully, before the fumes finish me off. Oh, that's a sound and a half, isn't it? Right, now that we've bathed ourselves in isopropyl alcohol, I'm going to have a little sip of tea. The bag's been left in today. Let's see if we can figure out a few bits. So this is our screen. Now the thing is, the instructions that came with this thing, which if I remember, I'll post a link to for all the good they are. They're absolutely downright awful. Let's get them up on my screen. So, according to these instructions, the first one I'm looking at, if you're going to have a look at these, is the picture at the top, and it says stick the double-sided tape on here, but it doesn't say anything at all. Should we put the... See, I'm thinking perhaps I'm going to put the lens on now so that I've got something for the... something for the old LCD screen to sit onto. What's this? Oh, this is ridiculous. Maybe for now I'll just leave that there. That's not really worked, has it? See, I wonder if are these supposed to be some sort of spacers? I think they are, aren't they? Ah, right, okay. Maybe we're getting somewhere now. So that, is that for that bit? Again, it would be helpful if the instructions actually instructed you, for want of a better phrase. That doesn't go there, does it? Right. Are these sticky? I think they are, you know. I think there's something to be peeled off this. There is, look. Okay, right, so there's something to be peeled off that. Although it's not sticky. Great. That's useful. I tell you what, this kit so far is not impressing me in the slightest. It's very fiddly, and I know, yeah, you get what you pay for, except that I did pick one at the bottom of the pay bracket, but you do expect a certain degree of functionality. And at the minute, I ain't getting it, as they say. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right, let's get that. I'm sure we'll get there in the end. It will be fine. There's only a certain amount of parts. There's only a certain amount of ways that these things can go in. I'm sure all will be fine in the end. But you would like these things just to drop in, or if maybe we become too used to things just dropping in, as if we become lazy, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that's not going to go like that, is it? That's bigger than that, so that's not going to go. I can't imagine for 1 minute that. Oh, is that going to sit like that? Which bit of the board does that connect to? That bit, isn't it? That's going to go in there. Oh, it's probably going to fold back on itself. Right. I'm going to pause the camera for a little bit. I'm going to go and shout at something, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to try and fathom this out. When I have, I'm going to restart the video and I'm going to explain it very calmly and very carefully to you watching at home. Goodbye for now.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I went away and shouted at the floor for a little bit and whatnot. And I think I've figured it out, or at least I've got my interpretation of it, which we'll come to that other bit in a second, the front side of it, where it sits. Because hopefully that's not an issue. So the way this works, by the looks of it, is we had the screen, and that is held in place by those two pieces of plastic that we looked at, and they've been laid actually in place face down, and that holds the screen in place. You then put a bit of this insulating film on to insulate it. I don't know how well that works. And then I think this sort of sticky back plastic frame, which then this sticks to that to hold that in place. You then put another piece of plastic over again to insulate it as this board sits down. And then we've got this piece of foam, which I think perhaps sits on there. I'm not 100% sure. Perhaps we'll come back to that if it's not working properly. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the board, screen to the board. And what you might have noticed is this wire here, which is what we're going to use to add extra power, I think, to the board. Now, there's two ways that this can be done. The first way, and again, this is where the manky instructions isn't helping. It says you can solder the cable like this. Which if I just show you. He said you can solder the cable like this. Like what? That it doesn't help any. Or the other option is this. I'm just going to pause the camera and then I'll show you. So the other option is that we route this cable down through this gap here and we wedge it underneath this battery terminal here, and it then pulls the power when the battery's pulled in. I'm going to try that one first, and then if that works, I'm going to go back and try and figure out the rest of it, because I would quite like to have it as more of a permanent feature. Try and get my camera set up a little better. So let's try and get this back in properly. Some semblance of... Yeah, and I know I've not put the buttons back in yet. That's fine. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. I want to give those a bit of a clean. So let's just get this speaker in first. Because what I want to do is... get these couple of... Do those screws go in there? There we go, that's a little better. So I'm going to get these screws in, or at least one in, just to hold that in place. Oh, I always hate it when that speaker grabs the screw. Let's get that one in, shall we? Is that right? That's not a... No, I was going to say that's not a... That's not a case screw, is it? We'll get that one in. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. That's why I'm using the tri-wing one. Right, for now, that should hold it in place. Okay, let's get this ribbon in here. And again, I am absolutely rubbish at getting things like ribbon cables in, just by virtue of having these little chubby thumbs that... Ugh. There we go. Okay. Oh. We're in. Okay, so again, this is something here. I don't know what that is. I need to figure that out, and I'm mindful that is that going to short on there? Is this what it means when it says solder? Oh, we'll come to that later. Let's just get this router down here and have a look. Although, is that going to short on there? Again, it's not the most ideal. That's not ideal either, is it? It's not the best, is it? That's not. Let's face it. It's not ideal. Not impressed with that design. I think we're going to come back and revisit that in a little while. Let's let's just get some batteries in and let's see what we've got. Wow. Quite surprised by that. I'm quite surprised the fact that we've got anything on there whatsoever. Let's won't turn off. It's turned off. Okay, a few seconds delay. Let me go and get a Game Boy game. Be right back. Okay, so we've put a game in. And let's have a little look, shall we? Well, tell you what. Volume doesn't work. Wait a minute. Oh, the volume does work. Brightness doesn't work anymore. But that's fine. I'm actually pleasantly surprised by that. I think on the video you're going to be able to see some scrolling lines, sort of. That's not on here. I think that's something to do with refresh rates and stuff like that. I'm genuinely surprised that that has worked as well as it has done. And then by the time we get this on, that's going to cover those gaps up really nicely. And it's going to be pretty decent. Yeah, genuinely shocked by that. I think what I'm going to do is, because this actually works, I think I'm going to just sort of leave it as it is. I'm perhaps going to solder it in or make some kind of semi-permanent fixture for it. And I'm not going to faff around with whatever it was that it wants me to do inside there. I'm just going to put it all back together. Move a few little bits around, tape some bits down. And I think we're going to have ourselves a nice little machine here, you know. So for now, I think I'm just going to do all that off camera. I'm going to get these in the hot water or in some IPA and give these a good clean. Clean this back side up. Sort out that battery contact. Just bend it back round so it's nice. And I think actually it came with another sticker. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I'm not sure. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to nip off and just get this looking tip-top. And then we'll be back for the final show. See you shortly. Right then, folks, we're back. We're nearly at the end game now. So I've put this back together. We're all back together. I do need to give it a bit more of a little bit more of a clean. I've bent the battery contact back into place, and actually my original sort of concerns about the wire that was coming down, my concerns were that it would be exposed, but actually it's very nice and neatly tucked away inside, and I've sort of soldered it into place from behind, and it should stay in there without any fuss. The other thing that I picked up was a replica battery cover. These things do get lost to time, so I've had this just out the packet. Not quite sure how I feel about that, if I'm honest. It was supposed to be blue. It looks better on camera than it does in real life, if I'm honest. I think I might pop that and send that back because I'm not quite happy with the colour matching there. I think on camera it doesn't look too bad, but in reality it doesn't look very good. So I might revisit that, which is a shame really, because I was hoping that we were going to have this all done and dusted, but never mind, we can come back to that later. So really the last thing for me to do is to peel off plastic, at least what I hope is the plastic, just ripping the front of the screen off. Plastic covering on here. I know it's there somewhere because I can feel the edges of the plastic. It's just a case of finding where it is. Again, I've actually been, get that camera on there a little bit. I've actually been pleasantly surprised about these two bits of plastic. What would you call them? Dowling? No, not dowling, are they? Just the bits of plastic that are, there we go, we found it, that are holding. Oh man, maybe I should have taken this out first before I put the screen back in. I think I've had a bit of a nightmare there. Oh no, I'm just, okay, we're just about getting it. Yeah, we're all right with it, just. Dab a couple of little bits of fluff. Oh, let's put more fluff on. What was I saying? Yeah, the plastic spacers, actually, they've been a lot better than I thought that they were going to be. On the whole, actually, this entire kit has come out a lot better than I thought it was going to, given the awful instructions that came with it. So yeah, overall not bad. I think if I was to do it again, obviously now I'll be able to do it a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot easier, and without as much sort of stress and, not stress, but confusion as we've had in this first attempt. So all that remains for me to do is pop the glass lens in. I'm going to leave the cover on for the original owner to peel off. Just one last time, we'll just pop the game in with the battery. And I think we can agree that actually that looks pretty good. I've made a mistake under that. I think I've caught something when I've put the D-pad back in. I've not double checked it. But yeah, like we said, which is why it was going bling, 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 bling. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to sit and play this for a little bit. And yeah. So enjoy a bit of Friday night boxing. Listen, if you've enjoyed this video, yeah, as chaotic and as crazy as this one's been, it felt like it was a bit wild in parts. That's good. Okay, it's good to hear. Consider giving us a like and a subscribe, and leaving us a comment in the comment section. But ultimately, all I want you to do is, if you've enjoyed this video, just unplug my soldering iron while I remember. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, because that's all we want ultimately, to produce content that people enjoy watching. So it's a bye for now, and see you next time.